So, how excited are you for Vampire Souls? Excuse me, yeah. Uh, Anime Vampire Souls, I should say.
Anime Vampire Souls. Okay, it's good you specified that.
Okay, so, we're still wondering. Oh, hello.
No, we got a cutscene. Shut up.
About time, jeez.
You see, I like having the story stuff at the beginning, so we have, a conversation point. So we don't start off the video going, So we got major players in this cutscene. We have the second White Sage. We have Harpsichord alongside Evelyn.
Our good old friend, the Red Lieutenant. Stupid bird. Is this a boss fight?
So we're fighting. No, you didn't see the White Sage's name, so no.
I mean, somebody was. Yeah, the White Sage is named Hasima.
Well, it didn't have an introduction as extravagant as the last one.
I mean,
but if you remember, this is the White Sage that we were running away from at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So we have history with this boss.
Also, the Red Army here on the White Sage's side.
Yeah. So it shows you there are some soldiers on both sides of the armies. I don't think the White Sages have any sort of replication powers, so they need an army themselves.
You would think, if you were powerful enough, you wouldn't need to have a bunch of low-level soldiers to back you up.
No, you need grunts. Like what else is the protagonist and their party going to be fighting?
Just make the boss that much more powerful, I guess. I don't know.
But that then they just become overpowered. If they can take on an entire army, then they're going to be too strong. And then if the protagonist is able to beat them, then they're also going to be too strong.
Well, I mean, you already have, like, in the vast majority of games, the protagonist is already a one-person army. Like,
yeah,
it's so absurd to see like how many men
how many has Nathan Drake
too many.
It's like sadistically murdered.
It's also like
it must be like at least 100 per game, right?
Not to spoil a really old game. Spoiler alert.
Is it Uncharted 1?
No, I was gonna go down a different track.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 7.
Okay.
The twist.
Pure game.
Yeah, the twist in like one of the twists. One of the twists in that game really calls into question your main character being as strong as he is. But the weird thing about it in gameplay terms is that your character is as strong as he claims to be.
I'm not familiar with that twist. Well, I haven't played the game, so I don't know if it was like a major plot point.
Yeah, it is.
Or not. It is, okay. Does it happen like late game?
Like a little over halfway through, something like that. Have you like watched a playthrough of it or anything?
No, the only playthrough I'm watching is goddamn Team 4-Star.
Oh. That's got to be really slow then.
Yeah, well, I'm not too fussed about FF7 really.
Well, anyway, do you know who Zach Fair is?
Yeah, he's Cloud's buddy.
Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I guess I'll go back to that after this cutscene is done. Since we got trapped.
Away.
Yeah, we got trapped by the Sage.
And Harpsichord is being as useful as ever.
Yeah. How helpful. So yeah, Zack Fair is a character who. Oh well, all right. Let's talk to Evelyn first, I guess. Isn't it? Evelyn isn't on our side, though.
No, she isn't.
Why are we just talking to? How is the Red King?
Because it's a weird 3-faction thing. It's like, I don't like you, but I need to work with you so we can get rid of the other thing who might be more powerful.
Whales of the sky.
And
but
if this was a real life thing, I would back away from the cliff edge.
All right. I'm gonna need
if
to.
If the court just rolls over, he's gone.
I'm gonna need to pay attention to the beginning of the game again once I'm editing these to see what was actually up with that sequence with Evelyn and the White Sages at the beginning, because the fuck is going on?
I'm sure whatever inconsistencies that we're seeing here is probably my fault. I mean, I haven't been not entirely my fault. I mean, I did play this game 10 months ago.
Part of it might also just get explained later on in the story as well.
Oh yeah, we're not even halfway done.
But anyway, yeah. So Zack Fair is a character who only briefly actually shows up in Final Fantasy VII.
I know he got his own game.
He did, which is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, because he doesn't show up in Final Fantasy VII. So the thing, the major twist in Final Fantasy VII, for people who haven't, spoiler alert for people who haven't played it or whatever, it's a really old game, but
I'm sure the people who care already know by now.
Yeah. The big twist is that Cloud turns out to have been basically fabricating his entire backstory throughout the game, as you've been playing it, because he's using Zack's backstory as his own.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because the thing is, Cloud says that he was a member of Soldier, the elite Shinra, military force. But it is true that he went to Midgar to try getting into Soldier, but he failed. He flunked out of it.
Okay.
There's another twist that actually happens to explain what actually happened with him, but that's kind of the basic gist of the first part. And yeah, so he ends up basically just using Zack's story as his own, because Zack was the member of Soldier. So when you get to that point in the storyline, you're like, but wait, Cloud is actually really powerful. If he wasn't really a soldier, why is he so powerful?
Okay. So is the explanation of that is just Cloud is just good?
Well, no. The explanation for that is basically amounts to Cloud was a guinea pig for Shinra's scientists while they were trying to make clones of Sephiroth.
Is that before or after he flunked out?
Roughly the same, roughly concurrent.
Right, okay, so I don't really understand how he could be a science guinea pig and then before or after apply for a soldier job.
He never actually got into the soldier program.
He applied.
Yeah, he went to try and get into soldier, and then he was basically just taken aside and turned into a scientific guinea pig instead.
Okay.
Because he was actually he was a normal member of the Shinra kind of like rank and file military initially, which is actually like that's kind of the big reveal when you figure out that he was faking his backstory all along. Is like he knows all of this information that he told to people earlier in the game because he was there. He just wasn't the actual main character during those sequences. He was just a secondary character off to the side.
Yeah, I like it when even the protagonist can surprise you.
It was a super huge twist at the time, like.
Right, yeah.
Because
that's
man,
a good twist. It's certainly different from JRPGs where you wake up from bed and then you're just a boy in a small village.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest examples. I think before that, probably one of the Final Fantasies. I think 3. You were just a boy, and then you stumble into saving the world, basically.
Well, yeah. At least the remake of Final Fantasy 3 just opens.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm familiar with.
It just opens up with you falling into a cavern.
I think the only real difference between the remake and the original is the remake had actual characters with names in the party, and then in 3 they didn't have any names. But I think it at least starts off the same. Like you fall into a hole, and you find one of the crystals, and then from then on you could fight monsters and shit.
Yeah, you trip into a cavern and discover that you need to save the world, basically.
The crystal tells you need to do this because you stumbled in. You bumbled your way into my domain.
Yeah, like
do this for me.
People like shit on Final Fantasy VII all the time these days, but like, no, it's actually a pretty interesting game. Like, honestly, the biggest issue with it is just that the original version of the game now just has a really bad translation. Which, right. Japanese games back in the mid 90s overwhelmingly had pretty bad translations.
And with it being on the PS1, the generation of consoles that needs a remake the most, Final Fantasy VII is the one game that warrants a remake out of like any other game.
It's definitely out of the PS1 Final Fantasy games, it's the one that I think kind of calls for it the most, specifically just because even speaking for the translation and speaking for the graphical fidelity, like 8 and 9 were way better than 7. But
also, it would be weird to remake 8 before 7.
I mean,
am I wrong?
I don't know.
It would also be weird to remake Demon Souls before Dark Souls. After Dark Souls. Like now that we have a remaster of Dark Souls, I think all hope is lost for a Demon Souls remaster.
Man, I would love to have Demon Souls on PC at 60 FPS.
Why do you keep hoping for these things?
Because
why do you keep hoping for Bloodborne to be on PC?
Because it would be so much better on PC.
Tell that to Sony. Sony ain't doing so hot like right now with their like policies, so all hope is lost. I mean, I've lost hope.
But like, man, if Square Enix can start publishing all the Final Fantasy games on PC, you'd think Sony could be like, maybe we could start publishing games on PC.
If Cloud is in Super Smash Brothers, maybe.
God.
maybe we could get Lightning in there as well.
And it's not like Sony has never published a game on PC either. Like
what?
PlanetSide 2 is published by Sony, and it's like a huge free-to-play MMO shooter.
Is that on Steam?
I don't know if it's on. I think it's on Steam, but I don't know.
Because since it's an MMO, I would think that's like has its own client.
I can't recall at the moment, and I'm not gonna look it up at the moment, but it was still a hugely popular game on PC for a very long time.
Right.
I think it's on Steam. I don't know.
Well, I think before Sony releases anything on PC, I think we should hope for Atlas first. Because me personally, I think that's more pressing.
Man, imagine Persona 5 on PC.
They've acknowledged it. Like, there was an article that said, we hear you.
God,
5 on PC, or like any other Atlas titles would be nice on PC.
That would be good too, actually. I mean, Atlas does put some of their games on PC. It's just
like
not very many of them.
Yeah, none of the ones I want, so it doesn't count.
That's not really how that works, but no, like Persona 3, 4, and 5 on PC would be great.
The series started at 3. Just
obviously.
Bury 1 and 2 further into the ground.
I still don't understand why 2 is split into 2 different games.
Well, it was planned out to be a duology, like from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I don't get why, though.
I'm sure when you play it, it becomes more obvious. Do you know? Okay, well, first off, do you know why it has different protagonists?
I don't actually really know much about them, to be honest.
Okay. In that case,
I have them. I just haven't gotten around to playing them.
I think the deal is something happens at the end of the first game, which is like pretty major. Like, it affects the universe. And I think time travel shenanigans happen. And then
because
from there, the second game starts as a different character.
The second game.
Yeah, Persona 2 too.
Like the original Final Fantasy X too.
Yeah. Although I don't know if Final Fantasy X-2 was planned at the same time as Final Fantasy X, like it was with Persona 2 too.
Who knows? Square Enix might know.
It's just weird that the jump. Okay, well, the jump between Persona 1 and 2, it's like, it's not massive. It definitely does have different gameplay, particularly with the battles. But the jump between 2 and 3, it's like, why even make it the same series? There's like almost no connection.
The similarity basically begins and ends at the setting.
Yeah, and due to the nature of SMT, the characters coming back is like, might as well, it's not really big. It's like the connection between Persona 2 and 3, it's like the connection between SMT If and Persona 1. It's like it might as well have been a different series.
I do still...
Although, yeah?
I do still laugh at the section in Persona 4 where you go to the school from Persona 3.
Me playing P4 before P3, like, that was just weird.
Yeah, you're just like, what?
I didn't know what to make of it.
What is this school that I'm going to for? Why am I? What is happening?
Why did this random NPC have a character portrait of himself? Like this completely insignificant SNP NPC.
It's the weirdest sequence if you don't have any context for Persona 3.
Well, now that I do, I'm still kind of like, wait, why did this have to happen?
Because it was a callback, clearly.
It was as unimportant as P3 Portable, where you go to the hotel in P4.
Yeah, and meet
it's the exact.
Meet young Yukiko.
Yeah, young Yukiko. It's the exact same thing. It's like, this only exists for fan service.
Yeah.
And nothing else. This is just like, this just adds time to your save file. I actually don't remember like the story reason why you go to
be perfectly honest, like I don't mind that kind of stuff in Persona though, because like the vast part of why I enjoy Persona is for those little like weird slice of life moments in the story.
Yeah. I guess you could say the same thing, you know, why am I here? During real life school field trips.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we're oh no, wasn't the reason in P4 it was like they're swapping school classes for like a week or something? Yeah, it's
God,
like your class is in a different school for like a week just to like get a different culture, and then they're back to school just the same thing.
It's been so long since I've played Persona 4 that I don't actually remember.
Maybe it's a Japanese school thing.
I want to say that it is like it was related to all of the crimes happening in the area at the time, but I can't honestly remember.
Was there anything like that in P5?
That's
just like, oh, here's a character from a previous game. Have fun.
From what I remember, it didn't directly bring back any characters or locations from the earlier games. It might have made some like incidental mentions to them, but I don't think there was really anything like that.
Right.
He definitely didn't like. There wasn't any big sequence where you were like, "Oh, let's go back to the Gekukan High School" or anything like that.
Hey, let's go to Junes.
Yeah, there wasn't anything like that.
A school field trip to Junes.
Yeah, I think that Persona 5 doesn't. I'm sure that people
you don't meet like older Nanako.
No, I'm sure that people have.
Okay, good.
I'm sure that people have found some references to the older games, but there wasn't anything that stuck out enough that I can remember it right now. Yeah.
Right. But it's weird because this is like the only series that kind of does that, because like you either go direct
Look at
you
this
either
guy.
go direct sequel, or you do the Final Fantasy thing where nothing is a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. But either way, like, I do like it when games have, games in general. I like it when there is a different protagonist in each game.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I dislike it, but I don't prefer it if I'm playing as the same character in, like, all the games in a series.
So what you're saying is that you liked Kojima's bait and switch with Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2.
I thought you were going to say something else. I don't mind that, but I actually do like the twist in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if I can spoil. I don't know if I can spoil that.
I know what you're talking about, but I wouldn't spoil it.
It's okay. I'm not an MGS fan. I haven't played any of the games. But I was watching an LP of it, and seeing the twist, I definitely did like it. I'm not 100% sure if it was handled well, but the twist itself was pretty interesting.
It's clever.
Yeah, but I know that it seems the MGS fans in general don't like it. At least from what I've gathered.
I think it's kind of a mix.
Like they would have preferred it if that twist wasn't there.
Well, I mean,
more like.
Generally speaking, MGS fans would have preferred that Metal Gear Solid 5 actually got finished. But
that too.
You know.
Have you seen that that cut content?
No.
Because it's weird.
Nah, but man,
I wouldn't say it's spoiler because it's not in the game.
Well,
not really.
Man, Konami.
But it was basically okay. It's weird to have a game being broken up into 2 chapters because 2 is a very awkward number for games. 1 or 3 tends to be the case, and yeah, that was the case with MGS5 originally. Like the entire 3rd chapter was just not finished.
Yeah.
And there are cutscenes in chapter 3 that exist where characters are moving, in a cutscene, the camera's, a cinematic, but none of the mouths are moving when the characters talk. It's so weird. Like, it's so obviously, like, not finished.
Hence
which is
it being cut.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
It never will be.
And
the Metal Gear series will never get a finished 5, and it will never get Revengeance 2.
I'm gonna call it now that Metal Gear is basically just dead.
How ironic when the last game was called Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah.
Most appropriate name.
God damn it, Konami. They don't know how to do anything. Like, they literally just don't know how to do anything.
Oh, I'm legit surprised that Snake is in Smash again. I was like, how did that happen? Did they find like a loophole in the contract? It's like, oh, we can put him back in.
Maybe. I don't know.
But
Snake was.
I would imagine Konami's a bit uncooperative, but not totally.
Snake was one of my favorite characters in Brawl, so.
Oh yeah, I played Snake as well. One of the few. Well, I never had a main in Smash Bros. Because my philosophy is just play who you want to play as.
Yeah.
But yeah, Snake was one of them. I skipped Smash 4.
How dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you?
Well, at least now there's like literally no reason to play those games now that Smash Ultimate is like those, but complete.
Ugh. Nintendo.
Ultimate indeed.